everyone. Nice that you enjoy us with this video instruction. Today we're gonna make a t-shirt, just a simple one with no shoulder seam. So it's gonna be like a kimono sleeve, which I actually really like. So to make this t-shirt, you will need a few basic things.
You will need a pencil, a geo triangle, an eraser, a ruler, a sewing machine if you have one, otherwise needle and thread, scissors and pins.
We're gonna start. I will draw on the board 70. Need this ruler with a sharp corner. That's where your sleeve starts. So this is 46. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna close the square. So next step is to make the neckline. And then you go from the top down 10 centimeters. So that's 10. Like that. 12 on this line. Like that. And then you make a curve. From the point where the armhole starts, or the sleeve actually, you're gonna measure up. You're gonna measure 20 centimeters up. So that means that you have some space left in there. So what you're gonna do is draw a line from this point to this point. There you have your shoulder. What else? Okay, so then we're gonna draw the sleeve part. So what we're gonna do is you will draw 31.5, this point, 31.5. I don't have enough space, so I will just make a really short sleeve. The next one is that it has to be parallel to this upper line. So this was 20. That's your line. So that's your front panel, an oversized t-shirt. Curve up a little bit this line because it's too pointy, and you will see that. So that's your new line. Yes, we have the front panel now. Also important is to draw a line of 1 centimeter around your pattern, so you can sew. Because if you're gonna sew it now, you're gonna take off space from your pattern, and it will be smaller. We're gonna do, you can also use this one. Go around and draw 1 centimeter. This side we're gonna put on fold. On fold. So on fold means when you're when you fold your fabric, there's gonna be a fabric fold at some point. So let me show it to you. I have a small piece of fabric. So this is your fabric. You're gonna fold it, and that means there's a fold line right there. You can put your piece of pattern at the line of this fabric fold. When you cut it out, you open it, and it's one whole piece. On this side, it's not necessary to put 1 centimeter because you're not going to sew there, because it's going to be on the fold of the fabric. So the rest is going to have 1 centimeter. So that's it. It's done. This is your front panel. You can also use it as the back panel. So that means you're going to cut it out twice on fabric fold. So if you have the fabric fold, you put it once, and then underneath that you put another, you put the back panel. I will make the lines that you have to cut out blue. So that's the outer line, the 1 centimeter you added. You have to cut it out. That's this line. The 1 centimeter you added at the neckline. So forget about these, because that was just to set up your pattern. So your new line is going to be this, right? And also the bottom line where you added the 1 centimeter, you cut out, and also this line. Right? So that's what you're gonna have to cut out. That it's front plus back, and also that it has to be on fold. So now you can cut it out on the line. There you have your pattern, and as you can see, you can already slightly see how it's going to be, right? So we will see. So now I'm going to pick out a nice piece of fabric to put it on. My fabric is double, so I fold it. And actually, if you buy your fabric, most of the time, even if it's leftover fabrics, they always double the fabric. On the edge of your fabric, you see there are these really small holes. Yeah? So that means your pattern is going to be parallel on that side. So that's your self edge, we call that. That means your pattern is parallel to the self edge. So this is your self edge, and this is your pattern, like that, right? Okay, and then also it has to be on fold. So you will need some pins, your pattern on your fabric so it doesn't move. So this is the fabric fold on this side, and that's where I put the edge of the pattern. If I go too fast or you don't understand, you can always stop the video or go back. And if you also, if you did that and you still don't get it, you can always send me a message and I can explain to you. This is your pattern on the fabric. So on this side is the fabric fold, and on this side is the self edge. So next step is to cut out your pattern all around. Your fabric is cut out. Now that's one piece. You have to do the whole thing again. So take out the pins and make it fun. Okay, so this is the piece you just cut out, right? It's this one. So it's oversized like that. Yeah. and then do it again. And there you have it, part 2, the back. So the next step is to sew your t-shirt. You can open the parts that you have, like that, is to put your front and back panel on top of each other. So these are 2 layers, see, on top. So you're gonna pin the panels on each other. I'll show you guys who don't have a sewing machine how to sew it by hand. If you do have a sewing machine, that's perfect. Then you can just sew on the edges, on the extra 1 centimeter that you added actually. So you sew 1 centimeter. So this is your t-shirt with the pins all around except for where your head is going through, the neckline, at the sleeve where your arm is going through, and at the bottom where your body has to go through. Onto the sewing part, you will have to need some thread and a needle. Also, don't double your thread because then it's gonna be too thick and you might see it, and that's not the nicest. Make a knot. So here is your knot, and you will just leave a little bit of thread here so it doesn't go out of the needle. This is your needle. So this is how it looks like. So I just sewed a little bit by hand, and it's gonna look like this. It's a special technique. So I will show you how I did that. The sewing. Okay, you can see this, maybe. Okay. So I just start normally. Like that. You can see that if you do a normal stitch, so here is no thread, right? So when you're sewing normally, you will always leave out 1 stitch, and that means that you will get holes in your t-shirt. What you're gonna do is when you made 1 stitch, you go back. You go back. You put your needle in exactly the point where you where your thread is, and then underneath, put it underneath the fabric, and then your needle goes out exactly where the thread is, like that, and then you do it again. So that's your hand stitch, and it's quite strong. See? Quite strong, and yeah, so you have to do that all the way around. I have the luxury of having a sewing machine, so I'm gonna use my sewing machine. I sewed it with the machine, but now it's stuck together. There's one thing you have to do, so cutting off all the leftover threads, but there's one thing you have to do, and I'm gonna show you. So there's a curve at the sleeve, right? You will see that when you turn it outside in, inside out. it will not look so nice here because of that curve. So what you have to do is cut it a bit. No. Just enough, not too far, because otherwise you will cut your stitch. So just at the curve, cut it. Turn it inside out. And there is your oversized t-shirt. A few things that you have to do to make it look nice. You can see that the edges are not so nice because you cut the fabric. So what you're gonna do, you added the 1 centimeter. What you're gonna do is fold it in the 1 centimeter. Right, you can iron it so it stays on 1. This is your inside seam, and this is the 1 centimeter you fold inside, right? If you're stitching your edges by hand, I will show you a trick how to blind stitch the edge, so that 1 centimeter you fold back inside on the edges. I will show you how to sew that blind, so it's called a blind stitch. So I will show you how to do it. So I already stitched the edge on the sewing machine, but I will show you how to do it. The first stitch is gonna be in the layer, the second layer, so this one. You just take one tiny piece of that fabric, just the thread of that fabric, and you put your needle through like that, and then do it again through the same one. Put your finger through, then your needle, to make a knot like that. So now your thread is stuck, can move. The second stitch is going to be in the upper fabric. You take one really small piece, just a thread out of the fabric, put your needle through like that, and then same thing again. So that's your stitch. You fold back the upper fabric, right? So you're sewing in between the layers. So if you're folded back, wait, like that. Well, of course you can see it now through the layers because I used pink, but normally you won't see it, and also on the outside you won't see it if you use the same color thread as your fabric, but that's it. So this is it, the t-shirt. Kind of cool. You can wear it. This was the instruction video of how to make a simple t-shirt. I hope you all enjoyed it and also understand the steps. If not, please send me a message. I can always clarify some things or explain some extra things, and yeah, I hope you really like it.